Welcome to Devon. Why is England's attack so toothless? That's what I want to talk about on this video. Why is the attack so poor when the players are so good? I think this warrants a bit of extra conversation. And I'm visiting family down here in Devon, and I thought, what better place to come and have a natter about the state of English rugby on the field at the top level than by coming to a proper grassroots rugby club, the kind of place where I imagine you took your first steps into rugby. Certainly I did, where I bring my kid on a Sunday, a local club up in Manchester, in my case, not down here, but this is the kind of place where you want, off the back of a great World Cup, you want to inspire a whole bunch. You want every Sunday morning a load of youngsters to be out on that pitch. And on a Saturday, you want 3, 4, maybe even 5 teams, women's teams, all the rest of it. And you just kind of worry that the negativity surrounding rugby generally is going to filter down to grassroots clubs like this in terms of participation, which has already been in trouble. And, well, does the rot start at the top? Let's talk about the way England are playing. Before I get into that, though, let me just say I'm Tim, this is Egg Chasers, and thank you so much for the support on the channel. I really appreciate it. Thanks for the subscriptions, thanks for the comments. There's been some brilliant ones. I wrote a couple down, actually. One here from JJ Smith. I was talking yesterday about how my algorithm seems to be serving me up adverts for adult nappies on Amazon. And a lot of people are saying, no, that's just the adverts. I got those as well. But JJ Smith says, well, Tim, I was seeing adverts for the new Porsche 912 condoms and luxury shampoo. Sorry, mate. Yeah, maybe my age and algorithm is catching up with me. Sua My Nana Anonymous says, well, I said name a more iconic duo, Maro Itoje and celebrating wildly when the opposition knocks on. And he said, I've got a more iconic duo, Owen Farrell and a complete lack of tackling form. Yeah, fair play. And Brian says, Brian's a Springbok fan, says, the Boks are threadbare at 10, and we still wouldn't take any one of these supposed great English fly halves. We'd take Quade Cooper before any of these guys. Really? Really, Brian? See, this is it. Because I still maintain Owen Farrell, George Ford, Marcus Smith and many other English players are exceptional rugby players. I don't think there's any question of that. And I think many of these players, well, this is the question. How do you think Owen Farrell would play, or many other English players, take your pick of the English players, how do you think they would play if they were transplanted into another international rugby team? Scotland, Ireland, France, New Zealand, South Africa. I think all of a sudden these guys some of them would look world class. These are guys that have won multiple European Cups, won Grand Slam, Six Nations Championships, got to a World Cup final, been there and done it, respected by their peers. It's just hard to understand England's attacking situation. It's just blunt, isn't it? So what is going on? The way I look at it, the rugby England are playing is old school. Doesn't it feel like 10 years old? Like it seems like the most inventive England get is having a pod of 3 forwards, getting the ball off the scrum half and running it in. Which, that was new and innovative like 10 years ago, but it's what the team that play here on a Saturday will do now. They'll play a pod of 3 forwards, 1 out from a scrum half. Occasionally you might get the pod of 3 popping the ball back behind, but that seems to be as kind of expansive as England get. And that can only be by design, because these are excellent players who can do so much more. So I think this is a friend of mine used the phrase paralysis by analysis. I wonder if there's a bit of truth in that. England might be held back by being so rigid and so structured, and there's paralysis as a result. Apparently, the way it goes, England kick a lot, and actually I thought the variation of the kicking game was all right. I thought that wasn't a big problem. It's quite good in some respects against Wales. England kick a lot, and as I understand it, and this happened with Leicester Tigers with Steve Borthwick, the more teams kick, the more teams win, is kind of a bit of Steve Borthwick's mantra. Again, I haven't spoken to him about this specific thing, so this is just what you pick up, so I may be wrong. But there's a sense that it works. If you kick a lot, it will work. And it certainly worked for Leicester Tigers. That helped them get a bit of cohesion and get a bit of structure to their game when they were in real trouble. But the problem is, at international level, the kicks any threat, whether it's kicking, whether it's running, whether it's going wide, whatever it is, only works when you have a genuine threat and ability to use other weapons too. So if the threat of going wide means that the wingers have to step up, then it opens up space behind and the kick suddenly becomes an option. What's happening at the minute is, I think the opposition against England know what England are going to do, generally speaking. And so the threats aren't genuine. And it just feels robotic. It just feels predictable. And consequently, defences are just not being stressed or stretched. Yeah, I think we feel a little bit like the Seagulls when it comes to watching England. And I don't think this is a personnel issue. So for all the column inches and for all the hours of YouTube videos and podcasts and stuff that are going to be taken up over this next week about who should be fly half, Owen Farrell, is he done, all the rest of it. I said this on the video yesterday. I don't see that as the conversation because I don't think England's issues are a personnel issue. And you can see that from Wales. There was a consistency in their performance when they picked two completely different teams. They should have won the game. They really should have won the game. But for England, at the minute, with the structure and the style, I don't think it matters who we pick. I also, and people have found this quite hard in the comments, clearly people are thinking I'm being a bit deluded, thinking that we can pull this round and it won't take much. I still honestly believe it wouldn't take much. I think England have demonstrated they've got a solid defence, they can have a good kicking game, but you've got to show more than that. And we haven't yet. And it's woeful, the try scoring record. What is it, conceded 14 tries and scored 3 in the last however many games. And the only try we scored was from a driving maul. Open play, nothing in several games. It's really worrying. I just think we have to offer a genuine threat, and I think these players can. They have in the past and they can again. It's not a personnel issue, this is a system issue. This is paralysis by analysis. This is too much structure. This is robotic rugby players when actually we need a bit more natural talent and a bit more feel of the game happening and a bit of bravery, the ability to take risks, not to crunch stats, the ability to have a go, not play percentages sometimes. And I do think it is as simple as that, and it might just be a mindset. And I guess that does come down to the coach and the coaching team, which are inexperienced at international level. And what's more, I don't think this is a personnel issue. I don't even think it's a coach's fault that we're in this situation, because the RFU knew exactly what they were getting with Steve Borthwick, didn't they? There's no surprise that this is how Steve Borthwick is playing. Everyone knew this is how Steve Borthwick was going to play, because that's what Steve Borthwick's plan is. I think, for what it's worth, he's the right man for the job. Maybe the wrong time. What he needed was what England had planned all along, was that he would take over at the end of this World Cup and have a full World Cup cycle to bed things in. Because we saw that development at Leicester Tigers and they started to open things up gradually. I just think on this shortened time horizon, this is backfiring big time. And England are in a big, big hole. They got the win, but this is where I'll come back. I've just come back to the exit of the rugby club, and as I end this video, this is it. Is it just about winning, or is it about inspiring? Is it just about getting a Webb Ellis trophy, or is it about a bit more than that? Is it about getting hundreds of kids on local pitches like this and having 4 or 5 teams? That's we're having a bit of an existential chat at the minute about rugby, about what we're splitting the elite and the amateur level. Does the amateur matter to the international team? I think it should. I still believe it should be fundamental and central to everything we do, and therefore there's more to rugby than just winning. Got to inspire as well. So with that, I will sign off from a cracking little local rugby club in Exmouth. Thank you very much for watching the video. Ask you please to subscribe if you haven't already, to leave your comments, and yeah, home of the cockles. I'll see you on the next vid.